Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. We got Jordan Christensen on the
You
podcast.
couldn't even hear it, Ty.
What? Did it not come through?
No.
I can't whistle. I can try it one more time. I can't even do it on command. Whistling's hard.
No, it's like your trademark, just like the fox, man.
Yeah. Just the other one I was gonna do is give me a sign that you're okay.
Yeah. He goes, I love the possum.
Possum's great, dude. I think I am the possum, even though I'd like to be the fox. I think I'm a possum.
I might be Ash, I gotta be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be Ash.
What is he the one that
Cameron's the annoying cousin. That's like,
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say, bro. I would say I'm Ash and he's the cousin 100%.
Freaking, yeah.
Just good at everything, annoying.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Cameron, we were just talking about how you're the cousin that's perfect at everything.
Yeah.
Not even, bro. If anything, I'm the one with the messed up sock hat.
No. Ash is Stryder. That's what he
I'm
determined.
sorry, man. I already took the role.
we look awesome. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. Are we still recording? Do I start over?
Yeah,
What's
we're good.
going
We're
on?
good.
I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Can't whistle. Yeah, there it is. Cameron, I couldn't do it last time. I can't do it again. So even with an additional start, and we got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
You can never outfox the fox.
I love it.
Yeah, wrong movie. All right, wait, okay. I got this. You're just different.
Just different. And we got Cameron Mickle on the podcast.
You're still on the lines. Let me tell a story.
And we've got Stryder Mickle. I actually don't know your last name.
What?
Yeah, I don't know your last name. You are family though, so
yeah, true that. I did that. I don't feel safe because we're not.
Oh, I love it. Guys, today we are discussing Fantastic Mr. Fox. This movie came out in 2009, directed by Wes Anderson. Kind of feels like a Wes Anderson movie, doesn't it?
Kinda.
Can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about it. It's written by Roald Dahl. It's a famous children's book, and written by Wes Anderson and Noah Baumbach. It's got George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman, Michael Gambon, Willem Dafoe, Owen Wilson. Anyone who's anybody.
Yeah.
Got everybody, you know? Anyway, love this movie, and we're going to talk
Except
about
Jake
it.
Gyllenhaal.
Except Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know. I guess his voice acting, I'm trying to think. Has Gyllenhaal done a voice?
I can't see. Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
he did Spirit. He's the horse.
Well, he did the new Strange World, I think,
Are you
too.
serious? That's hilarious. Oh,
Yeah,
Strange World,
he's
right.
the horse in Spirit
Yeah.
that says like no lines.
I thought that was Matt Damon. Was that him?
I'm pretty sure it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm pretty sure I don't remember.
Who was the
Just like
horse,
that entire
Cameron?
movie, yeah. Who plays the horse in Spirit? Guys, what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? I'll start with you, Stryder.
It was Matt Damon, Cameron.
It's
Nice
Matt
try.
Damon, yeah.
It was Matt Damon. Nice try, Cameron. You suck. Sorry. Okay. Stryder, interrupted you. Andy, what is your last name? Is it Gibb?
It's Gibb. Yeah, it's
Gibb.
Gibb.
Okay,
Oh
I
my
wanted to make sure
God.
because I was like,
I can't
that's a safe
confirm.
bet, but I wasn't 100% certain. And
Do
I
you
didn't
know
want to just say it
anyone from the
boldly.
Mickle side, Ty? Name one person from the Mickle side that you know that you'd have on the podcast.
The Mickle side? Connor, dude. I know Connor. I know Devin. I know Clinton. Dude, get out of here with this.
That's only Monty kids. You don't know a single person outside of that.
That's fair. Yeah, no, you're right. But you asked me to name a single one. I named 3. So stuff it. Okay.
Not
Stryder,
to be
I'm
fair,
sorry, we
to be fair,
interrupted
the
you.
age gap. Not even a problem,
Yeah,
man.
Stryder, last time I saw you, you were wee big.
I was tiny, man. I couldn't even
Tiny.
make a coherent
You were
sentence.
in
So you're
diapers, to be
chilling, man.
honest. The last time we had a
Exactly.
conversation, you were in
Nothing's
diapers.
changed.
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
You
Trust.
still may be in diapers, but you can talk now, so there's that going for
Exactly. I can make
Barely.
sentences up.
you. Keep up. But that's why we're reviewing Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Exactly. We got to do an animated film when I'm on.
I love it. Anyway, Stryder, I'm sorry. I'm done commenting. Dude,
No,
what
you're
was it
good,
like
you're
watching
good.
this movie for the first time and rewatching
He's
it for
not
the
done.
podcast?
For the first time, honestly, the only thing I can say is it was an experience. Watched it with my girlfriend, went in with no expectations. very just warm heart kind of the whole time. Second time going through, I actually started to relate to the characters a little more and kind of questioned maybe what it stood for and what kind of foreshadow it was, especially with like the paintings that stuck out to me for some reason this watch around, always painting a storm.
Great. Cameron, how about you, man? What was it like watching this for the first time or rewatching it for the pod?
Yeah, this was like my third or fourth Wes Anderson movie I saw. I think the first one I ever watched was Isle of Dogs, and then I watched like Moonrise Kingdom, and then I think one other before Grand Budapest, and then I watched this. For me, this is
You have seen
easily the
Bottle
best
Rocket
one.
though, right? That's my favorite Wes Anderson.
No.
Bruh.
For me, this is easily his best. I think this one like clears everything else, but like far and away. And on the first viewing, I was just like pretty blown away. There's just kind of a lot and there's so many voices. I'm like, what? Like when William Dafoe was there, I was like, is that freaking William Dafoe? And same thing with like the polar bear. I'm like, is that Owen Wilson as a polar bear? But so like the first viewing was just kind
He's
of like
a
almost
ferret, right? He's not a polar bear.
Yeah.
Maybe he is. I don't know. I think he's like an otter. Isn't
I
he,
thought he
or
was.
something?
Well, I thought he was a polar bear.
I don't think he's a polar bear,
The
but
I don't
coach?
think. Yeah, Coach Skip, but I don't think it's a polar bear. I think he's like a
I don't know what
white
animal he
otter
is.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Some
Okay.
muskrat.
Well, whatever he is, but so the first viewing it was almost like too much to digest.
An albino
and then
ferret, Cameron. Yeah, sorry.
Rewatching it for the pod, I'm actually glad that we did it on the pod because like it was something that I didn't know if I ever wanted to rewatch again. But after rewatching it, I was surprised at how much I loved the characters. And kind of like Stryder mentioned, like I was just impressed at how well written like everybody is. Everyone's like super relatable, and I love kind of like the roles are like very clear, and yet like everyone's very human. Like even the perfect cousin, you can see like when he's crying, and then like I love his way of like helping him out or being nice to him. He's like he just starts the train, and they're just
watching.
just watching the train go round and round, and like just finding ways to like make everyone so like multidimensional with it being like animated is so impressive.
You're disloyal, Cameron.
The cuss you are, Cameron. Okay, anyway, we got George. What was it like watching this movie and rewatching
Plus
it?
me.
So unfortunately, the first time I was not in the mood for a kids movie. I'm like, this is a kids movie. It's gonna be dumb. And so I like went in grudgingly, and so I didn't enjoy it. And but on rewatch, and I've seen it many times since, it gets better every single time, and I absolutely love it now. And it's such a bummer before that I didn't realize like how intelligent this is and how many amazing jokes there are and like all the dry humor. I absolutely love it. So many great performances, a million great jokes. I mean, I'm definitely showing my kids this movie. It's better than half the kid garbage they dish out now. So
For that. I would argue it's not a kid movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
Seriously, there's
That's
so many
true.
deep undertones. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys kept saying kid movie. I'm like, huh?
Some of the
the
challenges
rat
it
gets
brings up are
stabbed to death. It's
crazy.
more like West
Yeah,
Side
like
Story.
when she says I never should have married you, I was like,
That was crazy. I wrote that down. It was unreal. That was
That was
crazy.
This
crazy.
is heavy, dude. This is heavy.
muy heavy.
Muy
exactly.
heavy.
My kids are gonna be adults when they're kids.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, dude, they're mature enough to handle it, and you just see them crying, shaking back and forth, trembling.
Even though the
What about you,
minions are
Ty?
probably gonna be their favorite. Oh, sorry.
Well, guys, I gotta say, first time I watched this movie, I loved it. I watched this in high school, and I remember liking it instantly. But I also had a friend that was like, dude, it's his favorite movie. He was like, we're gonna watch it. So we watched it together. And I remember he loved it enough for the both of us. But yeah, I was like, it's perfectly fine. And actually didn't even, I think this was one of my first Wes Anderson films, but it's a close second to Moonrise Kingdom. I don't remember if I saw that one first or I saw this one, but those were my first two Wes Anderson, and they're both just about as Wes Anderson as you can get. Moonrise Kingdom is about like a young Boy Scout falls in love with this girl, and
Don't watch that with, because I watched it with a girl and she's like, this is
it's been a while since I've seen Moonrise Kingdom, but I mean, like, that is like his only other
Yeah, Ty, what are you
PG-13 film.
condoning?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I know it's PG-13. That's all I could say about it. Fantastic Mr. Fox is like one of his only other PG movies. Isle of Dogs, I think, was PG-13 too. But anyway, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, they are more mature, but I also feel like they're certainly done in a way that like his whole style is very otherworldly, and I think that whoever he has is a set designer. Like again, I would love to see Wes Anderson do other things because I love Bottle Rocket. It's like one of my favorite movies of his, and Fantastic Mr. Fox is a close. I think I like Fantastic Mr. Fox most, but I just think that this fits a Roald Dahl storytelling. Like this is like probably one of the best adaptations of a Roald Dahl book I've seen. I mean, Willy Wonka, there was changes, but I still think that movie is an incredible movie. But like as far as Roald Dahl is concerned, you got to be proud of this one.
I don't
Like
know what you're
it's
saying. Rodal. What is that?
Roald Dahl
Yeah,
is
for the
the guy
uncultured
that
swine
wrote.
that I am.
He wrote the books for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He wrote Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh,
He was just a very famous children's child book author, but he wrote story. James and the Giant Peach is another one. You know, good movie, but not as good as this one. I think. Like, so I just like that Wes Anderson had enough love for the story that he like kept a lot of it.
and did we
And
tell
Rudolph's-
listeners already why Cameron's in his car?
Well,
He
'cause
locked
It's
himself
because
out
I-
of.
it's
Cameron
because
put
I
himself
have-
in a trap. Yeah, Cameron's like the
And I freaking locked. Me and two of my roommates left the house. All of us thinking that another person had a key. So now we get to pay $180 for a locksmith to drill through our door and open it.
Well, you do realize that it's probably cheaper just to break a window, as long as you don't get caught, break a window, and then you don't have to pay the replacement, just pay for the pane of glass. It's probably cheaper than 180. So Cameron's grabbing a
Yeah,
rock right
well,
now.
too much
Listeners.
effort,
This is
and,
so exciting.
I-
Tune in, see what happens. Anyway, folks, what are your two favorite things from this movie? I'm gonna have Stryder. You go first, buddy. What are your two favorite things from this movie?
Oh no.
You're not ready? Sorry.
No.
No.
I think my favorite takeaway, I like how they kind of allude to the fact that Fox is a terrible listener, just an awful, terrible listener. And I think that's super relatable. I think sometimes we can get so caught up in ourselves that we forget to check on those and listen to others around us. So I liked the full come around that had in the movie. And also I gotta be honest, I really enjoy the soundtrack. The music is stellar in this movie. I felt like when they introduced the villains, just that opening scene, and then how they wrap it up in the supermarket, like just all those scenes just really invoked a lot of pretty good emotion.
Excellent.
Preach.
Good soundtrack. Zip zap, zip dab, zip dab.
The banjo scene.
I was just making it up on the
song,
spot.
PD. That's bad songwriting. Get
so
out.
good.
I love
Throws a cigarette at him.
that. Cameron, what about you? Two of your favorite things.
I think my first favorite thing was I was just like super impressed with, kind of like I already mentioned, like just all the characters being so multidimensional. Like I was just very impressed with. I loved like the relationship that Mr. Fox and Mrs. Fox had, and how like you can just see the parts of her, of her that he loved about her, and as well as like vice versa. And I just thought like their dynamic was super interesting, and that's why it like hit so hard when she was just like, I never should have married you in the first place. And leading into that, like my second favorite thing is just I just love the possum. He is so funny. Like it's kind of going along like Stryder saying that Mr. Fox is a terrible listener. I love that the possum just sometimes is just like googly eyes, like I feel like I'm talking to you, but you're not really picking up what I'm saying. And then he's like, what?
You give me a
Just like-
sign.
I love how just like aloof he is and everything, and yet like so determined and like wanting to be involved. Like I love like the first scene with him and the chicken. He's like, and he's like, no, I said one bite, and he's like, I have smaller teeth. Like they just brought in a lot of dynamics of like certain characters and like almost personalities of creatures into like the characters themselves, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, like I like what you said, dynamic. I just like it when he's like going through all their Latin names. He's like Homo heptilus. He's like, what are you? He's like rabbit. It's like, I'm a good listener. I'm quick on my feet. He goes, I'm a demolitions expert. It's like, wait, what? Really? I don't know. That quote always makes me laugh. Badger's a demolitions expert. Anyway, Jordan, how about you? Two of your favorite things?
I'll cut this from the pod, but I just like the only word you can come up with is you're like
Heptilus. Every Latin
something.
name. Every Latin name has in it,
Ties
man.
DNA.
Yeah, dude. It's in my DNA. We're all Homo sapiens.
Whoa, we're only half family tie. I'm only half. You're full.
Okay.
I love
It's hard to pick on just like two specific things, but like I mentioned before, the humor, and it's like so sad that I didn't recognize the humor in it, because now I just was like laughing out loud so many times. Like I love even the jokes when all the dogs eat the blueberries and then one of them spins, looks at the camera, and then faints. Like it's just comedic gold.
They're freaking starry-eyed.
Yes. It's just like I revel in all that. There's just so many fun little gags throughout. I'm trying to think of more of the jokes, but
Because I think he uses physical humor, Jordan, very similar to Edgar Wright. I think both of them have like kind of mastered that craft of physical humor like pretty well.
yeah, a lot of
And
visual humor.
that's also because of like how well they edit as well, to where like it'll cut or just like the way it's spliced a lot of times, it makes it really like humorous.
Yeah, and it's so quick. I feel like you blink and you miss it, and it's like as soon as I'm laughing, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta stop laughing because the next one's already they're telling another one. And then the other thing that I really loved, probably be on this view, I kind of noticed it as almost a Western, especially that end scene where they come out and start throwing the fiery pine cones. Like it totally feels like a Western, which I feel like honestly to enhance so many movies, just make it a Western. It's so good.
A standoff vibe to it, which was really fun.
Yeah. What'd you say,
Westerns
Cam?
are overrated.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, get off the podcast.
Not even
Boo.
true. Not even true.
Boo.
You haven't seen Tombstone yet, Cameron.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Cameron.
gosh, just gonna seen some
Yeah,
500
your boys might get to me in a
that's
rush,
the
but
exact
if...
same plot as every other.
No, dude, Cameron, you don't understand. You don't understand.
I don't.
That's
I
okay.
really don't understand.
That's okay. We won't hold that against you. But I will say it's a real joy even watching like the making of this, like Wes Anderson, like getting like Bill Murray and George Clooney in a room together and having them like argue like animals and make all these
Yes.
sounds. It's just really funny to watch. So highly recommend
Yeah,
if you haven't
I've
seen
seen
it.
so many behind the scenes of like him eating
Yeah.
too. He's like,
Yeah, it's fun that like, you know, they weren't in like a sound studio. It was like you just got him outside. Like it's very I think it almost feels like Kiwi is the term I'd use for it. It's just very indie and like quirky. Like it would have been easy to be like, this is a prestigious film. We're gonna have you in a sound studio and pay you for your time there. But they're like outside, like they're just like acting like rabid animals. So you see like George Clooney like rolling around in the grass. It's very refreshing to see. You know, they just went for it, and I love that they didn't put it beneath them. So I love everyone in this movie. And again, it has all the hallmarks of a Wes Anderson. You got Jason Schwartzman in it, you have the Wilsons, you know, like this is very Wes Anderson-y. But I like this because to me, a style and the set designer that they get for this movie, it belongs in a fairy tale. So I don't mind watching it. That's what takes me out of like stories that the Grand Budapest Hotels tells me, and Life Aquatic and all that. I think they're probably really good movies, but somehow the style it just takes me out of it, where it's like, okay, like even if you wanted to make the argument that it's like just otherworldly or it's just surreal, but it's just like you've mastered it. I don't know a single other person that has a set design like Wes Anderson or even a style for I don't know,
Well,
symmetry,
I think the
visual.
oh
mad OCD.
Yeah, it's almost like OCD where I'm like, is this like something we should be applauding him for, or maybe something we should be getting him some help for? You know, maybe we could help him out anyway. So but I enjoy it in this medium, and for a children's story it's perfect because it's so visually stunning and very fun to look at, and it makes sense in a children's story brought to life. And I think this was really well done. I think Wes Anderson should adapt more children's movies. Yeah, Isle of Dogs, that's
Isle
not a
Dog's
children's
so
movie,
good.
but still, you know, it's still a very appealing visual. I enjoy seeing it. So anyway, those are my two favorite things. A lot of the voice acting is great, and of course the
Well, that's
set
what I think. I
designs,
think it's like
symmetry.
one of the most impressive parts about a lot of the humor is that like you can show it to like to your kids, but at the same time you're gonna get jokes that your kids don't. Like one of my favorite like uses of the kind of physical humor is just like when he's explaining the game. It's like, oh, it's a super simple game with the rules, man. This guy
Whack
gets to
bet.
this and this.
Whack bet's
And
easy. Yeah, it's easy.
it shows like all the lines crossing or whatever. And then he's like, okay, got it. Like I just think moments like that are just like super clever, and then like it would just go straight over a kid's head. They're like, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, it starts with them lighting a pine cone on fire with a cricket bat with spikes on it. I mean, it's a pretty intense sport, and I love it. So whack bet.
Yeah,
And that
it's got the
picture.
same energy as Quidditch.
Yeah. Too bad not more people are playing
It's as
it.
simple and sensical as Quidditch.
Too funny. Throw this time out for quotes, nitpicks, or funny things that you guys observed from the movie.
You're glowing, Ty.
You're glowing. I thought that she's just like straight
Is
up
it just the lighting?
a nightlight behind her. Yeah. One of my favorite things is like stylistically when they're all digging. I don't know why it's so funny. They're all swinging their arms and they're digging underground, but like they're
Look
in
at-
like a single file line and they're all just like
Look at
I just thought-
Christopher. He's a what is
he's
it
a
called?
He's a
natural.
It's a natural. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, Kristoff is probably one of my favorite foils to the sun. Like he gets out
Mhm.
there and he sees breakfast and he's like, I don't want him staying here. And then he like spits or something, like his ears always twitching and he spits after he's brushing his teeth at the I don't know, I thought that's so funny. But
Yeah,
Jason Schwartzman
he's
and Kristoff,
different.
they're hilarious.
He's what, Cameron?
He's different. I thought of the
Oh.
about time the about time quote when he was like, gay. Well, I am gay.
I love it. And it, like he like forces him to sleep under the table that holds his train or something like that. And he's
Can I
like,
scoot it over? There's a
Oh.
lot of attitudes going around. Don't let me be getting one of them.
he's
I
like
love how they
so
introduce him.
mean. Yes. And
He
he's
just comes in, he goes, I'm sick. I don't want to go. And then Mom responds perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, you have to go. That was a lot of mornings for me in elementary.
no. I
Yeah.
love it.
And I love how they kind of break between that the fact that they're animals and then that they're human. Like when
Yeah.
he got the breakfast all nice, and then he's like, no. He like eats it like an animal.
Yeah,
And
and then
he's
he's
talking
like,
about wanting
fear
to be
that was
prestigious.
Yeah, it's great. And I gotta say, Borges, Buns, and Beans, those are the three ugliest looking farmers. They're so good. No, excuse me. One short, one fat, one lean. Don't run those together. I said, I'm sorry.
No, Ty,
One
the
short,
ugliest
one
of
fat,
the,
one
the
lean.
ugliest of them all is the cider wife. Man,
Oh,
that
I know.
girl, she could beat up
Genuinely
any of those
terrifying.
three.
I thought that was
Yeah.
a dude until she spoke. Swear to
Dude, she walks down in the basement looking for some cider, dude. Oh my
she has an
gosh.
astigmatism.
No, so creepy. Yeah, she would be the one I'm most scared of.
She's terrifying.
Rat was great too. I actually really liked Rat's character, how he's like, oh, your wife is a fox. I don't know why, but like even the illusion that the rat had like an affinity
She's
for
the tart of the
Fox's wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I found that so funny. And voiced by Willem Dafoe even makes it better. He's so creepy.
I love as he's describing it to him, and he's like, "Your wife was the tart." And he's like, "No," and then he's like describing it, and he's like, "Be quiet."
He's like, everybody's got to pass.
That's great. I love it. Yeah. Anyway, Borges, Buns, and Beans, they were great. And there's one of my favorite flip out moments, like the Tommy Wiseau moment, when Michael Gambon, Bunsen Bean, I think it was Bean, and he like finds out that they got away or whatever,
Yeah, and
or
he trashes.
Wait,
he
tears
just
up the whole
trashes his
camper.
trailer park, and it's one of the funniest things, like that. And then the other laugh I get is also when his son, this ugly ginger with freckles, is like eating stuffing chocolate face in his cake. And he's looking at the kitchen TV and he's like, Dad looks ridiculous. Look at Dad's tie. And he's wearing this Fantastic Mr. Fox's tie around his neck as a necktie. Amazing. That always gets me to laugh. But yeah, he just tears through his whole apartment. So funny. His little trailer mobile home. One of the funniest freakouts in the movie. And then it just doesn't end. He ends up coming up over to the other side of the trailer too. Like after you think he's torn up the one half, he like walks toward the camera, passes through the camera, throws the coffee table. He's still, and then he goes outside, grabs the musician's bike, throws his bike. It just keeps going, and it is so funny. But it's one of the funniest tirades of just him losing it, and it brings me so much joy. So love that freak out.
I love when they get the
so
ransom
fun.
note and it's all cut up, and he's like, "But why did they need to cut up? We already know who they are."
We know who it is.
And they
I
even
love
put their
that.
names at the bottom of the paper. That's great.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's so funny.
Is
Hey.
there like an interpretation to the wolf thing at the end? Like I didn't really get it, but I loved it.
Yeah, I
just
wrote that down. I have no idea what the wolf even relates to.
It's the free spirit, man. He has accepted his inner animal, you know? Like, yes, he has been domesticated, but they also are wild animals. I don't know. I have no idea, guys. It's a Wes Anderson movie. It's not supposed to make sense, but visually it looks appealing, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
And I
Don't
know
read too
Ty
much into
mentioned
it.
his favorite Wes Anderson movies, but this one is easily the best Wes Anderson movie. I started the newest one. I have to finish it, but I've seen everyone up to this point, and I need to finish the first
Asteroid
one.
City.
Yeah, I gotta finish that one.
Asteroid City. I haven't
I
seen
haven't
that.
started that one yet.
But yeah, the top 3 Wes Anderson films, if I had to name them,
This one.
like it's
This
Fantastic Mr.
one, this
Fox,
one,
Bottle
and this one.
Rocket, and then I don't know, Moonrise Kingdom maybe. Like I mentioned. What do you guys say, Cameron?
Yeah, I would do this and then Moonrise and then maybe Isle of Dogs or Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
See, the problem is like I think parts of Grand Budapest was so much better than
Yeah.
like a lot of the other ones, but I just felt like the first half of the movie, I was like, what am I watching?
That's actually when I turned it off. Yeah.
I recommend Ty the Darjeeling Limited, the one where
Oh,
they're on the
Darjeeling Limited. Yeah. That's actually a good one too. I actually always
Yeah, that
forget
was
that's
really
what's in it.
good.
Again, it has elements, but it's not as so. Again, those are like his first 3 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets
Bottle
more and more
Rocket and Darjeeling.
OCD, and his humor gets drier as it goes on.
Yeah. And it's fine. Like I said, again, if you have an eye for it and it's like that's so appealing to you and that's the most important thing, it's like knock yourself out. Like I just feel like, like everyone might harp on Nolan being like, "Oh, your movies don't have enough character." It's like, do people harp on Wes Anderson enough, or am I the only person? Like your movies, sure, they're visually stunning. Is there any substance to it though? Like, I mean, come on. Like I could take a still from the movie and be like, yeah, it's very beautiful, but like I have to watch 2 hours and 30 minutes of this. Like, come on. Characters are weird.
Wait, are we talking about Wes Anderson?
Any of his films.
They're
Yes.
only like an hour and a half each, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Grand Budapest felt like 4 hours long. I don't know how long it is, but it felt like 4 hours long.
It gets better. I liked it better on my second rewatch. I honestly thought it was great.
But I have to watch it twice. That's
I
coming up on
know.
8 hours, Jordan.
I didn't like it the first time either, but I loved it.
I like Ralph Fiennes. I like anyway, doesn't matter. Not defending those movies or attacking them. Folks, check out Wes Anderson's movies. They're very unique looking.
Do we recommend this?
Do I recommend Fantastic Mr. Fox? Yes, everyone should see this.
100%.
Kids should even watch it.
One last thing, you mentioned Edgar Wright, Cameron. I do like this is a note that I took. I like how some jokes will come into play based on like things coming into frame, things moving out of frame. Like when a good example of it is like when he like throws himself at Christoph's cage. He's like running across the table and then he like trips and he's like bouncing and then finally hits the cage and knocks out. Love it. Like there's so much in there. But yeah. I think it's really cool that in this medium he does jokes kind of like what you mentioned with Edgar Wright, whether it's the editing or callbacks. There's a lot of good callbacks and I like that. So good style,
I forgot,
fun story.
Forgot to quote one of my favorite parts when he stands there like Superman or Robin Hood and he's like, I'm gonna, you know why I can fit through that? Because I'm little.
Because I'm little.
Because I'm little. I love it. And I also like I think is it the beaver? They're looking over there and he's like pass me the beaker, and he's like, come on, what's going on? And she's distracted looking at Christoph and he's like, look what I could do. The beaver grabs like a Bunsen burner and just blows up a chemical. He's like it's like Beaver's like one of the best kids in this whole story, dude. Love the beaver.
No, and just like you're
Why
talking
is your
about
cousin
too, like,
such a wet sandwich? Love it.
I love when he was talking about like talking to his dad as well, kind of the quote that I referenced from the beginning. I love how Mr. Fox is like explaining to his son, and then he's like, all right, step on my toes, let me tell the story. Like and then like I just because that is like so relatable, especially with a dad. Like I used to always like dad will ask like, do you know how to get there? I'm like, yeah, I know how to get there. He's like, okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take her. I'm like, I literally said I know how to get there. What part of that don't you understand? So just like the unwillingness to listen sometimes is funny.
I love it.
I love the continuation in the classroom scene that you were talking about, where he's like, "You're supposed to be my lab partner," and then she's like, "I am." Well, you're not.
You're disloyal.
You're unfaithful. Yeah,
You're unfaithful.
You're unloyal.
You're disloyal.
I'm loyal.
You're disloyal.
It's hilarious.
Love it. That's great.
And then do you want to go over what we've seen lately?
Yeah, so we
don't
always
have-
end every movie podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies we're looking forward to. Stryder, why don't you hit us up? What movies have you seen lately?
I mean, if I'm keeping it 100% honest, I've been a big SpongeBob watcher lately. I've been getting back
Let's
into
go. Yeah.
Are you
I mean-
rewatching older seasons or are you watching the new stuff?
Yeah, I started from season 1, episode 1,
Oh
and
my gosh,
I
it gets
just
you hooked, dude.
love
First two
like,
seasons of SpongeBob are still great TV.
I didn't
watch
understand
them
some
with
of the
my kids.
humor that some of the jokes they make in that show are actually very applicable to when we're older.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good writing, dude. Hilarious
I
stuff.
love it. Like my friend pointed out to me how it's like it's kind of funny how Squidward's always like getting on SpongeBob and Patrick's tail for being like, dumb, but at least they're like outside doing something and he's just inside twiddling his thumbs on his little trumpet all day.
That's clarinet.
It's a clarinet.
Oh, clarinet. Sorry.
Which
that's
is
my
named
point, that's my
Clary.
point.
Yeah, his name is he named it Clary, by the way. He's named his clarinet. Just thought we should bring that up. But
But yeah, that's
I'm just
honestly-
saying though, if I was SpongeBob and Patrick's neighbor, I would also stay inside.
Oh, I would
24/7.
hate them. I would hate them. Unfortunately, I'm just SpongeBob in this scenario, so it doesn't matter.
no, that is so
And I'm
funny.
Patrick.
You're like, and that's the extent. I've just been watching SpongeBob.
No, but more seriously, I did have to watch Alien 1979.
Classic.
Good
Yeah,
movie.
great movie.
Killer movie. Had to watch that for a film class and it was stellar.
They have an amazing documentary. There's a scene where they're walking towards the giant ship and he put his kids in little costumes so the ship would look bigger on set. And then when he had them in the suits, all the actors kept fainting inside those suits because you can't breathe in them. And the actors are like, can we please like design these so we can get some oxygen in here? And he's like, you guys are fine, you're fine. And then when he got his kids in them, they all fainted. And then he's like, oh, we got to change this.
That's crazy.
Is that Ridley
Crazy.
Scott? Is
Yeah,
that
Ridley Scott,
Yeah,
man. He does
that's
not care about his
hilarious, dude.
actors.
He's like, whatever, dude. He's like, get the shot.
Well, it was in the 70s.
Stop
In the
complaining.
70s, they could hit their actors and do stuff like that. Not today.
Dude, okay, so it's been said many times that he didn't tell them what was going to happen. He loaded explosives in the
Yeah.
chest of John Hurt. And so when it burst and the blood, the actors had no idea they were about to get showered with blood. They didn't know that was going to happen. So
that
you
scene
get
made me
like
feel
genuine
gross.
reactions from them. And you're like, yeah, though, but you can't argue with those results, right? Like Jordan's in the team camp, Shelley Duvall should be abused on the Shining set because it gets those results, Poor Shelley Duvall,
true.
Stanley Kubrick, freaking Ridley Scott, man. They don't care. Anything for the
what
shot.
else you see, Stryder?
What was
They
that?
don't
Sorry?
see my
What else
vision.
have you seen?
What else have you seen?
That truly might be the full
I will
spectrum.
say Alien
That's
and
a good list.
SpongeBob. That's a pretty
It's very, very, very
there's an
different.
over-
Wide
window.
variety, a diverse palette, you may say.
What
There's
can
a
I
Venn
say?
diagram, of SpongeBob and Alien crossover, and I don't know, but you fit the bill. So there you go. I love it. Strider.
about you,
It's
Cam?
Amazing. Yeah, Cam. What are you watching? What have you seen lately?
Oh,
Oh, real quick.
I've
Are you looking forward to seeing
yeah.
anything, Strider? Is there something that is on your radar, a movie coming out, or a movie on your watch list that you haven't seen yet?
I was actually really looking forward to Nun 2 because I thought the first Nun was terrifying, like horror wise, scary movie.
Oh, let's just clear the air. Nuns are scary, regardless of the
Very.
premise that they're in. Nuns are just freaky.
Extremely.
Okay,
I don't want
Nuns
them.
are
I know they're
scary.
spiritual, but I don't want them near me, like at all.
No, yeah, yep. The hats, the freaking look, the robes.
They-
You can't see what their arms are doing. It
They did
freaks
a
me
whole
out, dude.
episode in AP Bio about that, like the nuns being
Scares
terrifying.
me.
Yeah.
Nuns are just scary. They're just scary all
Scary,
around.
scary,
And they're like
scary.
there to chastise you because you're not being a good boy. That's just so scary.
What's the song from
Scary.
Sound of Music? They kept saying.
How do you solve
Oh,
a problem like
That's
Maria?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, freaky, just unnerving. She dodged a bullet there. I know she had to like run from Nazis, but it still was a better alternative than being a nun for the rest of your life. My goodness.
oh my!
I
Being a nun would suck, respectfully.
would suck.
Respectfully.
Sorry,
oh my
sisters.
gosh.
Are there any
Eric-
nuns listening to the podcast? We
Oh,
love you out there.
that's
Sisters,
true.
we love you.
Cam-
Yeah, we
Cameron?
respect you. But
I don't understand your lifestyle.
I
but
don't
whatever.
respect.
yeah.
I rewatched. I showed Shutter Island to my roommate Colton. This is like my 7th or 8th, or no?
Was it's
yeah.
amazing, Ty? Get out of here.
Dude, it's
mediocre at
literally
best?
it gets better every viewing, and like
It does.
and also every viewing I stand more on my side. Homie's not insane. And then
Hashtag free Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah,
Free Teddy.
for real. It's a 10 out of 10 as usual. And then I watched Chronicles of Narnia because Drew had never seen it, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Dude, so good. Mr. Tumnus, I forgot that he's freaking played by James McAvoy. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fudge? Also, he's low key, but we'll let it slide because he's half human. So good.
Wait,
Not a
you
big
mean
fan.
he's trying to kidnap her, but not.
Dude, you should know. I'm
He's
telling
trying to
you,
kidnap her
should,
for the White Witch, but now you're freaking
no,
me
you
out.
should rewatch it. There's some weird energy every time they're together. I'm like,
Isn't it because he's fearful of
uncomfortable.
the White Witch? Now, again, I'm trying to look at this as a lens
No,
of C.S. Lewis and
after Aslan wins, bro, there's weird vibes with them. Like they're like talking, and he's like, I'm like, that's a child.
I think the last thing I want to do is rewatch Narnia. If I'm being 100% honest, that
Dude,
movie is a
the-
fever dream.
just keep on with the SpongeBob. You're gonna be okay,
Yes,
Stryder.
yes,
Just
yes.
keep on with SpongeBob. Aslan
And
can't hurt you
then-
now.
And then I watched Notting Hill for the first time. Holy cow! What I don't know how I haven't seen this. It's literally like not like a slightly worse version of About Time. It's so good. I love it so much. I also watched Vanilla.
Sorry, to give context, Cameron, you really love About Time, right? But for some reason, the only
Yeah.
thing you could say about it's like it's not as good of a version of About Time. But you're like, but it's
Okay,
an
yeah, well,
amazing
About
movie.
Time's my number. It's my number 2 film of all time, and I gave Notting Hill a
Right.
9 out of 10. So it's
Right.
excellent.
Okay. So, but it's I don't know why I just found that funny. You're like, dude,
Yeah.
this movie not as good as my favorite movie, but it's out there. I just think that's
And then I also watched Vanilla Sky. First off, I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought it was a rom-com.
Don't
that
spoil.
movie's not a rom-com. Holy
yeah. No.
I was blown away.
Mm.
It's weird as freak. I mean, Tom Cruise's performance was insane as usual. But it's funny. I've been watching so many like psychological thrillers as of late, and like my brain's just like questioning reality. Because then I also watched A Haunting in Venice. I went and
Is
saw
that
that in
the new
theaters.
Kenneth Branagh and the Michelle Yeoh one?
Yeah, it's like the third on like the Murder on the Orient Express or whatever kind of
Okay, is
trilogy.
it just me or is it who's the actress? Is it Julia Dreyfus? No, who's the actress? She's like a comedian. Oh, it's Tina Fey, right?
Yeah,
Does she belong in this movie? I gotta be honest. To me, it seems so
Does she
miscast.
belong in
but-
any movie?
Yeah, she was kind
Boom.
of strangely. She was trying to kind of strangely cast, but I was really impressed with it. There was a moment where I was like, because I don't do paranormal stuff, and I was like, low-key about to walk out of the theater because it was freaky as for like probably like 15 minutes, but then like it was much more grounded, which I was like, oh bless. But I was really impressed with it. I went in not really wanting to go see it because I was wanting to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Gran Turismo, but then like a group of friends wanted to go see this. But I was like really impressed. Gave it a like 4 stars, like 8 out of 10.
Huh.
And then after that, I followed.
Is
up
it better
with,
than Murder on the Orient Express, Cameron? Did you see that movie?
personally? I enjoyed it more.
I hated Murder on the Orient Express.
Like I
Not
thought this one was like
Yeah.
a slightly worse version of Knives Out. Like I
Okay.
thought it's like really succinct story, and I liked how it was like wrapped up in a neat bow, and it wasn't like extremely long. I thought it was like just perfect length.
Okay.
And
Well,
then I
based on your
watched
review, I think it's safe to say we all agree that we should give Tina Fey over to the nuns, right? That's it.
Please.
and then I watched Black Swan because it's in Cole's top 10.
Watched it? What?
What the fudge, bro?
It's okay.
It's
I love it.
literally like Joker had a baby with Birdman.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
just like
That is
it, like-
actually the best. Yes, that is the best description.
it just
yes.
it like hurt my brain at times. That like the middle third with like the psychological thriller aspect, insanely good.
Yeah.
And like when she has like the red eyes, I thought it was like one of the best scenes I've ever seen in like cinema history. But like overall, I mean, if there was a little less like, I would have liked it a whole lot more.
Wait, what's that movie called? That sounds good.
I'm just
and
writing it down
then-
on my list.
Yeah, hold up. Let me just add that one.
and
Black
then I also watched Fractured. It was one that's been on my list for like a long time. It was like because I love psychological thrillers, and it was like, oh, if you like this movie, you need to watch this movie. And it was like Shutter Island and a couple other like psychological thrillers that I loved, and it was
Anthony
this was
Hopkins?
recommended. Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling, right?
No.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of a different one. Sorry.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of
it's-
something else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
what is his name?
Yeah.
It's Sam Worthington. He's also in like Hacksaw Ridge. He's Jake Sully in Avatar. It was all right. Like it was like I felt like it was trying too hard to give too many twists, and it was just like it was trying to be like because I kind of predicted the main twist that like I was like, oh, I could call it kind of from the beginning, but then like they try to do a twist on top of that, and I was like, all right, you're stretching a little. But I mean, overall, it was fun because the score was really good and it was like really eerie because it's essentially about a guy who goes to a hospital with his daughter and wife, and then like they go missing when they go to the like to go get a CT scan, and then the hospital's telling him like, oh, they like you came here alone with a head trauma, and he's like, no, like I was here like with my daughter, and he's like, here's proof, and he's like keeps bringing all these things, and they're like, no, 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 and so
It's
it was
called
pretty
Flight
good.
Plan. Yeah, you got on the plane with a daughter. Oh, you
It
didn't have a daughter with you. Oh my gosh, but look, her fingerprints are all over the window.
Yeah, it was pretty much just like an
No.
hour and a half of gaslighting this dude. I was like, this poor man. He's like, I swear I have a family. And they're like,
I
you're
don't
alone.
understand. I got to be honest. Maybe the first movie that did that, it may have worked. I just don't get that gaslight because it's like let's assume that they actually go through with it, and at the end of the movie, it's like, yeah, they were just crazy the whole time. Like, would anyone find any fulfillment out of this? Like, there'd be nothing. Like, great, I just watched an unreliable narrator go through the entire movie and then realize that, yeah, they are in fact crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, and that was
Or
that was
were they?
the plot was kind of like that, and I was just felt like it was like, well, of course, like you're gonna
Yeah.
trick me because you showed me unreliable facts
You
from the
yes.
beginning.
You
So it's
edit
like,
it. Yes.
how would I have predicted like that he was crazy if you only showed me what I saw? And it's like, oh, it actually wasn't what you saw, and I was like,
Oh,
okay,
Jordan,
like,
that's that. What's that movie? The chick with the saw blade. What's that one where the crazy
Softly?
twist ending? High tension. That's the one. This is
Oh,
high tension all over again. It's like, well, yeah, I fell for the trick. And Glass Onion.
spoilers.
This is another example. When he edited it, he literally. You don't even get
And
me
well,
started.
oh
Ryan
well,
Johnson.
the breakdown I thought that was a good one, a psychological thriller. Like, oh, is my wife gone missing or was I not? And then the town tries to make him think that like she was never there.
no, the best way it's
I
done
forgot
is
about that plot that they
Gone
make him
Girl. Gone Girl
gaslight
is
him.
The girl was. Did you say good?
no Gone Girl.
Oh, Gone Girl, yeah.
Gone Girl
Yeah.
does it perfectly. That and Shutter Island. So psychological thriller should be made.
Shutter Island is good.
But this whole idea, like, oh, you came here and no one was with you. I don't know why that annoys me. Like Gone Girl, like it's different. It's not like, I mean, it's like,
Right,
are you
it's because
responsible or not? Yeah,
right.
for her
It's because you're
disappearance.
too stubborn that even if someone gave you physical proof that you came alone, you'd be like, no, 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 conspiracy, conspiracy.
You haven't shown me one shred of evidence.
Yeah.
No, no, not that again.
I love it. That's so funny.
But yeah, and then just and I've also just been watching a little bit of the Batman 2004 cartoon.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you, Stryder. And
Cartoons, baby.
I've also been
love 'em.
watching a little bit of The Bear, the TV show with Colton. It's crazy good.
Is that the chef one, right? The new one.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Is that
looking
like the
forward
Thirst
to
Trap Chefs?
no.
No, there's one out
It's
there
about
that's
it's
a
like
little weird.
it's about this like brother who took over like a failing restaurant after, and he's like one of the best chefs in the world, and then his brother committed suicide, and so he like took over the restaurant that his brother was running kind of almost into the ground, and he's like trying to like save
Spoilers.
it, but it's like even as the best like chef in the world, it's so difficult because like they were just doing crazy things to try to keep it afloat. Like when during COVID, they were like selling cocaine to pay the bills. Just the wildest stuff. And he's like,
Do what you gotta do.
this is a restaurant, not a drug dealing business. And they're like, times were tough. I'm like, he's like, what is going on? But it's crazy good. And then looking forward to Gran Turismo was recommended by one of my buddies. Also TMNT. I've always loved TMNT, so I'd love to see that in theaters, and it had like similar animation to Spider-Man. So gonna watch that, and then might rewatch La La Land this week because I haven't watched it in a couple years.
Not long enough.
Right on, dude.
Dude, you
Well,
suck.
I've got 3 movies. I watched Prince of Egypt with my kids. Pretty heavy movie, but very impressive animated movie. Like 2D with 3D animation. I thought it was great. Like I'm watching like this really holds up.
Dude, that music is ingrained in my
I was
mind
wrong.
from
Yeah, you're doing
eternity.
Jethro's campfire song. I was like, what on earth is going on here? I thought you were doing like
Dude, and then when he murders the like the slave like whipper dude with a whip, I was like, yo! As a kid, thought it was like the coolest revenge kill ever.
Yeah, I mean it's a heavy movie, obviously. My kids are watching it and they're just like, like, what is a slave? And I'm like, we're turning this off. But I really like the movie. I was like, I don't know how to explain this to a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So anyway, powerful movie, you know. And I think Moses getting out on the water and parting the Red Sea was probably one of the most impressive visual. Watched like the making of it afterwards. I was like, that is so cool how they did all that. So anyway, very cool.
Nah, Jim Carrey splitting the red soup is my favorite depiction of that ever. I gotta be honest.
Bruce Almighty, I love it. No,
Is a
that's a
great
good one.
movie.
It's good stuff. But yeah, impressive. Like this is a very heavy movie and it moves right along. And I kind of like the choice to make. Well, one, Ralph Fiennes yells no, like for an extended length of time. That's amazing. That's worth watching it just for that. Like talking about Lord Voldemort's yell. I can't do it like he does it, but watch.
No way, he's Pharaoh.
Yeah, dude. And it's Val Kilmer who does Moses, which again, these are all white actors, and I understand a lot of people are going to give it flack,
Gosh.
but I think it's totally fine because was the movie good?
Guy's white.
Yes. But yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
representation matters, guys. It's important that I feel seen. Never mind that my favorite childhood actor was Will Smith, and I wanted to be him growing up. But
You
anyway,
still want to be him?
you know,
can't
now
relate
I
because he's
don't
black and you're
I
white.
don't want to be by my wife. No, so I don't want to be him
Oh my
anymore. So never
God.
meet your heroes. Yeah, not interested. So anyway,
I'm kind of into it.
yeah, yeah. Now I don't want to be him, and it has to do with personal choices. You know, slapping the crap out of Will. What's his name?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Anyway, I made a joke about this last week on Collateral. My wife was like, Jada Pinkett Smith looks really good with longer hair. That's like, you're so cruel. It's just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, do you not know about alopecia? And she didn't know any of it. I'm like, that's how she knew about the slap, but she doesn't know why. I love my wife for that reason. She's just out of it. And I'm glad. That's a good place to be. There's like, I heard about someone getting slapped. Oscars are crazy, man. Anyway, I also watched Jaws, which, you know, not to top Alien, but I think Jaws, wow, that is a really good movie. It does hold up. I was a little worried because my wife said she hadn't seen it since she was in, you know, first or second grade or something like that. She's like, I was like 6 or 7 years old watching it. I was like, are you serious? So we watched it, and the movie's awesome. It's an amazing movie. I don't know. It was directed by this guy named Steven Spielberg. I don't know. I've never heard of him or anything. It's crazy, but I watched this film. I'm like, dude, if he sticks with it, you know, we could expect great things from him. So anyway,
I'm so glad you've watched it now, because you used to like bash the crap out of the shark, but it builds up the tension before seeing it.
oh,
so
I still
perfectly.
agree.
To be
Every time I see
honest,
the
yeah.
shark, it made me laugh. Like the
The
shark made me laugh.
animatronic,
There's a
like,
scene
hand
where
puppet.
the animatronic shark at the end has an oxygen tank in its lip. It is hilarious. It is the funniest part. But again, it's amazing. I actually was thoroughly entertained because I've watched the HBO special, I think called Spielberg, and Spielberg talks about the a lot of the production issues they had making Jaws.
But it made it
what,
better. Yeah.
what I found, so yeah, it's a really cool story about how you have a vision for a movie and you want to make it like it could have just been the schlockiest, dumbest movie.
Well, now it
But
would be. It would just he'd CGI it like he does all his
right,
movies.
well, yeah, they would try to do that. Like
Yeah,
he
have
could
you
throw more
seen
money at,
Sharknado?
but but what an awesome movie, and it holds up to this day because again, Chief Brody sitting on the shore watching the kid on the raft get taken by the shark, and the camera lens distorts. It's so good. Like that scene, like if there was a reason to use that, I think they used it in Vertigo from Alfred Hitchcock. That's one way to use it, and then this is the other reason to use it. He's just watching from the shoreline. He's already tense. Spice behind him, and he just sees the kid, and he's the only one that spots the danger. This movie is a great storytelling, and it's kind of funny watching it now because I'm like, you could probably tighten it up a little bit here or there, but like it's amazing to think it's like his second, I think, feature film that he made, maybe third, I can't remember, but
The
yeah.
only way to watch the Jaws movies is like me, Jake, and Grant did on one vacation and watched 1, 2, and 3 back to back to back.
I can
I was
imagine
like,
going
is
from
this the
Jaws
same
1 to
movie,
Jaws
copied and
3.
pasted?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't. I know there's a second and third one out there. I don't think I even acknowledge them. I really think it's just the Jaws one, and I get it, the cash grab or whatever you want to call it. But first one's really good.
And
And
that's how I feel about Star Wars, low key a copy and paste in my
oh
opinion.
yeah, absolutely. They're soft reboots. Yeah. It's just it's a cash cow. They're just gonna keep milking this franchise, but it was really fun to watch Jaws. And then lastly, I watched The Black Phone, which I think we reviewed on this podcast, right, when we saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
But I saw it again with my wife and my brother-in-law, and they had never seen it, and they rather liked it. You know, they compared it to things like there's Sixth Sense, But yeah, the lead actor, holy crap, does he look like Cole? Our cousin, does he know about this? He's got a doppelganger. It literally looks like Cole. It's freaking me out. Anyway, so
What's Cole's last name? I'm just curious if you know.
Davis.
Davis.
Just kidding.
I know. See, I knew he was mocking me as soon as he
Oh.
said that. He knew his last name. It isn't Gibb, by the way. Just saying. It isn't Gibb. See, how would I know? It's either Gibb or it isn't, and that's what I was going to assume. But I would hate to just assume your last name.
No, I'm not
Folks,
bothered at all.
those were my 3 movies I watched. A lot of fun, and I'm also watching Clarkson's Farm on Amazon Prime. One of the best shows.
You're plugging that
out there.
so hard.
I
that
love the show. I can't recommend
Ty,
it enough.
how much
A
did they pay you
9 on IMDb. I
talk
can't. That
about
like
it?
Chernobyl got 9 on IMDb. I'm just saying, go watch it and you'll understand. It's so good. So, Jordan, how about you?
Okay, so I won't say all my movies because you guys can just check my letterbox. But
Yeah, we got Letterbox now. We're
I know.
writing reviews, folks.
But you didn't write a review about Jaws, Ty? Excuse me.
I know. I saw it and I'm like, what else is there to say? Oh, and real quick,
Jordan's literally turned into the mafia. Jordan's like, "Hey, have you done that review? I saw you." I'm like, "What the? Are you like?"
Jordan's like,
"Is this a homework assignment?"
I noticed you watched Jaws and you didn't bother to leave a review. Anything
like,
to mention about the movie
Like
Jaws?
literally, I came on the podcast and talked about what I thought about The Passenger, and then
He's like,
Jordan
"You
for the
didn't
next like
write
2
it."
days, he's like, "You haven't written a review about it yet." I'm like, "Relax. I said I didn't like it. Do you want me to write I didn't like it for you?" Like,
I will say, so one of my favorite pastimes now, this is amazing. So I made a promise to myself. I will only write a review first before I start reading the letterbox reviews. One of the funniest things I've ever, guys, go read the Prince of Egypt reviews. I was literally dying, like gut splitting laughter. He's like, dude, Ramses, what an idiot. He put his hand in that Kool-Aid and thought it was blood. 4 stars. So effing funny. Like, there's another one. He's like, dude, I'm in the club throwing down to the Plague song. Like, they're so funny. So I was like, okay, write your reviews first and then go and read the reviews that other people posted. The funniest people on the internet exist on Letterboxd and they write reviews. And they're so much more enjoyable after you just watch the movie to watch it. Because it's like sitting down with all of us and we're just riffing on the movie. And they're the funniest comments I've ever read. And it's so funny. Anyway, Ramses thought that Kool-Aid was blood. It was like one of my favorite comments. It's just
Yeah,
so
I've definitely read some really funny ones. Like for the new, actually, Ty says for movies you've seen. I watch it for movies I don't want to see. Like I like the.
Oh, okay.
I read reviews about War Horse because I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this, and they're like, he's like, I actually thought he was gonna kiss the horse. There's some
And again, no, yeah, for movies that you've never planned to see, but it is a whole nother level of comedy and enjoyment you get out of reading these reviews
you need
because
to-
they're so specific.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
you need to add
highly
the
recommend it.
Brighton Ty. She was on the podcast. She is really funny. She writes some really great reviews.
Okay. I was so I went ahead. So when I found out like they were writing these funny reviews, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write my reviews first before I review the movies that I'm about to review. As long as like I review them, I put my own out there and then I'll compare it to what else everyone else has said. But so my joke that I thought of, because I know that they do these funny reviews, I was like, Moses, he's the only prophet that broke all 10 commandments at once. So I guess you could say he's playing with the big boys now. I'm proud of that one, but again, it's so oddly specific to the movie. Anyway, so I was like, go check out this movie. It's amazing. And of
So
course,
I'm
Jeff
just gonna
Goldblum.
review really quick TV shows because unfortunately I don't know why they don't update this on Letterboxd, but you can't review TV shows.
Can't review TV shows.
I know, so dumb because I feel like that's like what everybody watches now. Anyway, so I'm just really quickly gonna review the TV shows that I watched. I finished Euphoria. I don't recommend
Don't
it.
know why you were watching that.
Don't watch it. It's
Dude,
like
I
the
love
worst.
Euphoria.
I know. I love it too, but it's like I can't recommend it and feel good about it. I just
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
don't-
terrible.
brings me back to
Raunchy.
it brings me back to high school, but the story is gripping and the music. Cameron already has songs from it downloaded.
Labyrinth.
Oh, this
And-
looks like a chick
Yeah.
show. Why are you watching a chick show, man?
It's about well, literally in the description, Ty, it just says drugs and violence. And that's literally all it is.
Okay.
Up.
But
I
the-
can't imagine you tuning into that.
The drug dealer is the best, and he is
Angus, he just shout out to him. All right,
yeah, passed away. It's so sad because I
Yeah.
freaking love him so much.
Angus Cloud.
And they announced the 3rd season, so I'm like, no, he needs to be in it. I watched Hijack, love it. It's like 24 on a plane, great show. I don't know, it's kind of like Emergency Declaration, Ty. So
Yeah. Is it a show or a movie?
it's a show. It's a 1 season, 7 episodes.
Well, so is it a limited series or is it like they're gonna
Limited
make more?
series. I mean, they could make more because it.
Hijack on a boat. I like it. You can just keep going, right? Hijack on the train. Yeah, you can just keep going. I was gonna
Yeah,
say, because I was like, as long as they wrap up the one hijacking
it
in
is.
one
Yeah,
season.
they
Yeah,
wrap it up
okay.
in a nice little bow. So
Okay.
they didn't have. I'm just saying they could do more, but I think I'm hoping they'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah, there were two towers, so they obviously
Oh
could have
my
done the other.
gosh.
They just keep
But-
going until they're in like a minivan or something.
And I just wanted to say too, I did watch True Romance, Quentin's best movie. Sorry, Ty.
It's not even his movie. He wrote a script for it. It's
We
not
always
his
Sounds
movie.
like
argue
his
this.
movie. Sounds like his
Oh my
movie.
gosh.
If he
Thank
wrote it, I'm
you.
just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Scriptwriters don't get enough credit.
All right. Any final thoughts, Ty, before we go?
Yeah. That was good. That was really good. I'm impressed with that one. Hope that comes through on the mic. So,
Oh,
guys,
I actually didn't come through on the mic. I was like, what is he doing? But you did the whistle, right? Yeah,
That didn't
it's
come
not
through?
coming. No, it's not coming through for some reason. Sorry, it's not coming through. I forgot to mention though the new Nick Cage movie. He's gonna be making an A24
Yeah.
film.
Yeah. What?
I can't wait to not watch it.
Yeah. What
We're
was
gonna
it?
review
It's
it.
like something about light. What was it? Like a dream
Dream
state or
scenario or
dream
something like
scenario. So wait, if I get this right, everyone starts dreaming about Nicolas Cage and he's in everyone's dreams.
Yep.
Is that right?
that. Yeah.
Oh
It's
wait,
like-
Nicolas Cage is in it. I definitely don't want to watch that.
Yeah, dude, Nick Cage
you.
is in everyone's dreams. Everyone dreams about Nick Cage. And like the funniest cut is like a child is having a nightmare of Nick Cage
Not
entering
I.
the room like a clown. And he's like overacting, running into a room. It's so great.
Looks
Like,
amazing.
yeah, I will say for that, I'm like, this has to be one of the most again, A24 pushing a premise like, what if one person just happened, like a phenomenon where everyone in the world dreamt about one human being? Like, what would the world look like? That's just a very interesting premise. Love that they're making movies like this because
Is
I
it
watch the heck
though?
out of these.
Is it though?
I love it. And Nick Cage has transcended, like, I mean, he is the
Yes.
biggest meme. So I'm almost like he kind of lives rent free in a lot of people's minds, whether they think about him or not. It's a crazy premise, but I think
it's so funny. Cameron's seen a lot of movies he liked with Nick Cage, and yet he still fights against it. Cameron, you can't fight your love for him.
What was the movie that Cameron
He
likes with
comes
Nick
running
Cage in
back.
it?
There's
Pig,
not a
Treasure?
single
You
movie.
You loved Pig, did you not?
Pig was good.
Loved is a strong word.
Okay,
I
you
like
really
Pig.
you liked Pig.
I love National Treasure.
Family
That's
Guy.
literally
You
the
love
only movie
National
of this I
Treasure?
love.
National
Fa-
Treasure's a gem.
Watch it.
Not Family Guy, Family Man. You liked, you really
That
liked.
one's all right.
Yeah, you really
I don't.
liked.
I
it.
don't
Get out
see.
of here.
But my least favorite part, like he's never the like all those terrible movies. Sure, he was a good part in it, but I'm like the bar was so low from the movie being so bad. It's easy to be the best part of a bad movie.
No, you like
Cameron, I'm just gonna send you Nick Cage losing his shiz on YouTube.
No.
My favorite video. It's 9
You
minutes
guys
of Nick
send this
Cage
to me like
just
every
losing
couple
it.
weeks. You're like, you need to rewatch this to understand. I understand.
No, it's just Nick Cage losing his shiz.
I've
That's all
watched
it
it
is.
with Cameron Ty. Yeah.
Love it.
yes.
One of my favorite YouTube videos. Anytime you think you're having a bad day, just
Yes, I watch it. It
just
makes me
think
feel
Nick
better.
Cage believes he is having as bad of a day as a character he played in a movie once.
Honestly, send that my way. That sounds therapeutic. In a
Yeah,
way.
it is.
It is. It is. Watch it.
is.
I'll send you the video, Stryder.
Yeah.
You can watch it and judge for
Just
yourself.
put it in the
but
group text. I want to watch it.
I will. Jordan's like, I want to save that.
I wanna-
I gotta save that one this time. Guys,
Hey.
this has been Future Hit Movie Gems. I'm so sorry my whistle and tongue clicking, my trademark didn't come
It's not
through.
coming through.
But we love you guys. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Leave us a comment of a movie you'd like us to review in the future. This has been Future Hit Movie Gems. Signing out. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Wet sandwich.